Russia done did it all. Russia's the bad guy. I'm just sitting back here. I think we have to ask some real basic questions about civilization. You always have people who aren't civil trying to tell you what civilization is. People who like people who've like never been to civilization town. People murdering people all over the world, causing mass destruction behind every single war. They're civil. They're gonna bring civilization to the world. My God, I was looking at the indigenous people disappearing indigenous women all over Canada and North America. This is civil. We're gonna roll this out to the whole world. Meanwhile, the indigenous people make up 5% of the population of the planet. They don't mess with nobody. Meanwhile, the civilizations are invading everybody. I'm just like, man, y'all not civil. Stop it. I got a little upset. I had a little momentary post-storm. I can't. How they say, I just can't with y'all today. I just can't. So they're what we got sanctions with Russia now, starting up some sort of an economic war with them and telling them they have, what was the stupid thing we just said? We gave them like 90 days to prove that they didn't have anything to do with Skripal. How do you prove a negative? If you didn't do it, how do you prove you didn't do it? What's Russia gonna do? They're gonna give what y'all want. Y'all want like a statement from all the Russian citizens. Where were all the Russian citizens at the time Skripal was poisoned? We need to know where everybody was. You got about 800 people you missed. Stupid. I think we need to get some people out the evil closet. That's what I think. Let's think about civilization today. Civilization. What does it mean to be civil? Look at the definition. Who is civil? And do we want a civilization for our kids to live in? That's the critical question. Grandkids. Do you want a civilization or do you want the bull shizzle we got today? That's why I think we always got to look back. That's why I'm hanging out at Nan Madol. Y'all heard of Nan Madol? Nan Madol. How you spell it? I don't know. N-A-N, Madol, M-A-D-O-L, Nan Madol. Not too far from Pompeii. Ancient megalithic site. So big, nobody knows how big it is. Because you have structures. Well, first of all, the megaliths, they weigh up to 50 tons. And you ask the professionals, the the academics. I laugh at this. It's funny to me when people say academics. I'm gonna shut that down. It's funny when people say academics to me. They say, I think I was talking to somebody on Claudia's thread, or she was posting some guy, Jim, I'm mad at you, Jim. I know who Jim is. Oh, bastard. I love you, Jim. Hey, listen, brother, love you. What'd he say? He said something Claudia was basically going through her thing. Kind of broke down. It was a little sad. She just said, look, we need to stop playing. We need to question everything. Bad things coming. And the guy was trolling her. He was like, well, what are your credentials? What are your academics? What do you have? And I'm just sitting here like, you know, academia is like the uncivil people. Like they're the ones who brought us the mass extinctions. They're the ones who are like putting poison on your wealth. They're the ones who are working for the big corporations. They're the ones who are breaking the whole world down. And you want to, we need to hear from the academia. Academia, they're the ones behind, what is the #1 killer of people right now in the world is medicine. If anything's killing more people, because first of all, mosquitoes and malaria, #1. I think America might be #2. Colonization, damn it, might compete with malaria. You put all the nations together, but modern medicine is murdering more people than what you can even count. So stop it with this academic stuff. Academia, man is dumb as a bag of bricks. That's my belief. That's my religion. That's my that's the basic foundation. And in fact, in my religion, that's what they say. Man has a finite brain. God has an infinite man. Man has a finite brain. Why would your heavenly father tell you that? Why would Shiva and Buddha and Christ and everybody say, listen, our brain is this big. Your brain's about this big. You can't even fathom the mysteries of God. That's why I love quantum physics. But anyway, he was off in academia. What are your academic credentials? And I'm like, listen, you can take your academic credentials, you can shove them up your Where the sun don't shine. Because I don't have time for that. It's stupid. It's stupid. If we live on a planet dumb, okay, your academics might be half a second above dumb, but if they work for big corporations that are all based in greed, then their dumbness is probably dumber than the dumb dumb. Okay. So anyway, I got that. I had to get that out for a minute. Good morning, everybody. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna talk about civilization for a minute. Because we talk about what is civil. Who is that? We got Jamie and Crystal and Dolores and Eric, Jeannie, and brother Mike is in the house, and Mary. And Mary, you got a new name, Mary? That's a new name, girl? I see that. Did you go to Facebook jail? Y'all in Facebook? All my friends go to Facebook jail. That's how I know you're a friend of mine. My friends can't ever get out of jail. They're always going to jail. I don't know anybody's name. All the names are constantly changing. They put people in prison. And is that civil? Is this civil social media? What is civil social media? I think civil has a lot to do with like freedoms. Civil, hold on, we gotta look at the definition in a minute. I'll tell you about Madol. You know what, better yet, I'm gonna let brother Graham tell you about Madol. Because Madol is important. Some of the megalithic stones weigh up to 50 tons. 50 tons. And you know what modern academia, the best thing they came up with? Oh, well, the people, and mind you, the civilization they think never was greater than 50 people. 50 people built some rafts and put 50-ton stones on the rafts and floated them out to the islands and built Madol. And I'm just saying, like, what? Have you ever tried to put some bricks on a boat? Have you ever tried to put bricks on a canoe? You ever do that? I did. That was stupid. I remember at Boy Scout camp, we did that. It didn't work out too well. It didn't work out. Kids got wet. They almost drowned, you know. But you mean tell 50 people built Madol, this massive complex that we don't even know the size of it because some of the structures are 110 feet under the water. They found Graham. I'm going to let him tell you about it. But it's just insanity. We don't know what happened before we got here. And what I mean by us, I mean us colonized, us dummies. The ancient cultures that came before us, they knew a hell of a lot more, and it's obvious because they left these structures all over this planet. And I have a theory, though. I have a theory. Because, you know, almost every one of these sites that I look at, there's always someone who says, well, there's stories that are handed down from the people the indigenous people that live in the area, the 5%, the ones that murdering in Canada and New York, Canada and North America, nobody's looking for. The one they got to build an app in databases because we can't get anybody to go find the indigenous women being raped and killed. But anyway, I'm not going there right now. The indigenous people always say, well, you know, either these sites were here before we got here and the gods built them, or they say what they say about Madol. It said they hired a magi, they hired a wizard who built them, and he used sound. And he used different tone sounds and he levitated. Hey, I need a magi. Hold on, where's my magi? Magi, where you at? Boom, magi, there you go. And he's probably the wrong one. He's probably a European magi. That's okay, he's here. He said he used sound, different tones to levitate the bricks. If they're saying that from thousands of years ago, and that was the stories handed down, and now only today we're just figuring out that we can actually use sound to move things. We're just refiguring that out today. This is why I say you always look back and listen to what all your ancients said. You know, they all call them crazy, think they're booty scratchers and pagans and all that dumb stuff dumb people say. These people weren't stupid. These people, they saw what they saw. Remember that the same brain that's in your head was in their head. I'm not sure that helped. I'm not sure that. Okay, let me be nice. So I'm sorry. I live in America. Okay, there's a lot of silliness going on right now. A lot of people, the neurons aren't connecting. But the same brain that's in your head is in their head. As easy as it is for you to be fooled, as easy as it is for them to be fooled. As much as you want to lie, as much as they want to lie. But the thing is, back then they didn't have mass media. They didn't have media always lying to them. You know, convincing them, making them really, really stupid, making really intelligent people do and say really, really stupid things. But the same brain that's in your head is in their head. And they hand down these stories. Somebody came in and they hired the guy and he levitated the bricks, all these big, massive stones. And the biggest stones at this site, 50 tons, but you have sites that have stones that are 200 tons. Like, oh, they had pulleys and strings and boats and slaves and they just made it happen. And I think that's bull. I think if the ancients said it, and we got quantum physics now, and we we have a lot of other scientists say, no, there's other ways to move things. We can't really do it yet, but they got something. And the monks got these tones. Somebody talking about monks. The monks got these frequencies and tones, and they sit there and depend. Why would 400 people sit in a cave and make that noise for 4,000 years? The Tibetan monks been in the cave a long damn time making that sound. Did the Om, was that called Om? That's why I think there's something to all of this. I go back, think about the handbags. Y'all know how they found the ancients who drew the people with the handbags everywhere. I always think there's some ancient technology. That's what I think. I'm gonna say my crazy stuff, then I'm gonna get down on everybody. I think somebody came here a long time ago with some high technology and we worship those things. That's what I think. And I think somebody in his tool bag had a hammer or something and it dropped out. But it was a hammer that could actually levitate bricks that made sounds, and they pressed a button, boop, and the brick levitates, and he took it around. Because you know what I think? I got a crazy theory for you. Why is it that every tribe had like a magi, a wizard, medicine man? You know, why did every tribe, every group had one? There's only one of them. And he handed the secrets down to the next person. Why did that happen? Why was it like legacy? Like, I think because he had the tool. I think they found a few of those tools in different places, and they were levitating stuff, building stuff. Say, listen, all of this voodoo stuff, ain't nothing to that. Mixing potions, ain't nothing to that. Look, this is what you do. Hey, look at this. I found this. I didn't know what the hell this is. You press the button, beep, and it makes things fly, and it makes a sound. And that's why people in the Tibetan caves are making that sound. Getting a little crazy, but and they handed it down. But I think that's why you've got this military industrial complex that are always lying about these ancient sites. I think that they're always trying to find technology. They're always trying to make murder weapons. And then one day somebody took that levitating bag, the handbag, whatever it was, the man bag, and they put it on the back of a raft or something, and it flew, and they're like, oh, Vimana, check it out, Vimana. And they started flying around. I don't think the ancients lied. I think people lie today. I don't think the ancients lied. But anyway, let me step back. Because this is not what I wanted to talk about today. We'll get to it. Magi go away. I think that I don't think we know anything. I think we are dumb as the day is long. And this is a site that Graham Hancock is focused on. And this is why I pay attention to people who question everything. I love me some Graham Hancock. If you don't follow Graham Hancock, you should. I mean, he is one of the guys, he just sits back and he will take on academia. He'll take on the academics and just say, no, that didn't make no sense. You know, this is why I don't worship academia. I don't worship degrees, papers. I don't worship people who think they know every damn thing on a planet where we don't know nothing. I like people who take them on, and you can use common sense to do that. You don't need 82 degrees to talk to somebody that has 100 degrees. You don't. These people are dumb as you are. The same brain is in their head is in your head too. You can use common sense and say, no, you're lying. And you don't always have to know what people know. You just have to know what they don't know. But this is Madol. I'm going to play this for a minute.
This island here in Micronesia, because Santa and I did a lot of diving there a few years back and spent a lot of time on Ponape. And lo and behold, at Ponape, there is a series of structures called Nan Madol, which are made of exactly the same material as we find at Gunung Padang, and which even really look a whole lot like Gunung Padang. These are Gunung Padang on the top, and here is Nan Madol in Micronesia.
Stop real quick. So Gunung Padang, that's what he's talking about. That's the site that they found the new pyramid that they found in space. And I forgot where it is, but it's around the equator. It was a space that they know throughout the Ice Age, human civilization could have lived there throughout. And now I think there was an archaeologist, he was starting to study it, and they stopped him because they said, oh, there's nothing down there. Then why are you trying to stop him? And they stopped him, and he went and he petitioned the government, and they let him. Now he's currently excavating Gunung Padang, and he's saying that the structures are very similar. That's why I think that little device to press a button, boop, they had that device in a lot of places. I think the Egyptians had it. I think all throughout the Aztecs and the Mayans had it. Maybe the mound builder. Okay, we'll let it keep going. But that's what he's talking about, Gunung Padang. And I think that's why Graham Hancock focused on both of them.
Yeah, on the bottom. And Nan Madol stands on the edge of the ocean. And if you continue out, again, comparisons between Nan Madol and Gunung Padang. If you continue out into that ocean and get your feet wet and get underwater, you find that the structures continue underwater. And they continue for a long way underwater, down to about 110 feet beneath the sea. And there we find these huge pillars sticking up out of the seabed. In some cases, the pillars are fallen, like this one, and covered in coral growth. And I'm struck by the incredible similarity between that fallen pillar and this huge megalithic piece from the island of Tinian, which is in the same general area.
So I'm gonna stop there. So the point is that we have no idea how big these sites are. We have no idea why do these governments constantly want to hide this? We have no idea what people are doing in the pyramids at nighttime, making all that noise, running wires and cable everywhere. All we know is they're looking for something. And whatever the hell they're looking for, they don't want anyone else around when they find it. Like the tomb they opened in Egypt, what was it, like 2 weeks ago? They opened the tomb and they didn't want anybody around when they opened it. They opened the tomb, then they said, okay, oh, we didn't find anything in it. It's just, we found some goo and some bones, goo and bones. That's what they found. Remember the pyramid? I mean, that's like, it was a tomb that they found under the streets, not too far from Giza, under a city. They were doing some construction and they found it and they opened it and all they found was goo and bones. And I'm just not going to get into it. There's always this, they're hiding something. And that's the whole point of the reason why I'm mentioning this. And I go back to the ancient sites, is they're lying. And anywhere somebody's lying, that's where you look. Again, you walk in the kitchen, you walk in the house. The kid's been there on summer vacation, they're at home dancing, playing, singing while you go to work, and you come home and they all sitting on the sofa reading books. Wait a minute, I got 3 boys, trust me. They never, how do I know something busted, broken up, blown up, then captured one of the neighbor's kids and locked them up in the basement somewhere and got them tied up? How do I know? How do I know they got friends at the house dancing, partying, singing to dad pull up in the truck and they run out the house? Because when I walk in the door, they all sit like, oh, we ain't doing nothing. We're civilized, Dad. We're just sitting here. So I want to talk about civilization today. That's how I know. I walk in like, yeah. I'm going to go in your room and see what's going on. Okay, Dad, go in that room. Okay, all right. I'm going to go down in the basement. No, Dad, don't go in the basement. Don't go in the basement. Just go anywhere but the basement, Dad. Don't go. Yeah, you got a little kid down there. You got somebody tied up. Y'all's having a party. So anyway. Anywhere your government doesn't want you to look, anywhere they're covering stuff up, always look. That's why I look at on the moon, right? Why? Because they don't want nobody looking up there. They went to the moon and my flat earth friends here, y'all, just be quiet, just for a minute. Just, shh. Let's pretend for a minute the moon is like something real. It's real, it's up there, it's not a hologram. Just for a minute, pretend. Just go along with me. NASA went this, oh, there ain't nothing here. Dust and talcum powder, ain't nothing here. Y'all don't need to fly. Russia, China, y'all just stay there. Y'all don't worry about it. Nothing's up here. There aren't structures and people and ancient civilizations and V-miners came here. That's not up here. Just dust. We ain't never going back. We ain't never going back. That's a lie. That's all a lie. That's what I'm saying. Listen to your whistleblowers. Don't listen to your government. They're always lying to you. So anyway, I'm going to talk about civilization today. What does it mean to be civil? What does it mean to be civil? Outside of the fact that I think every ancient civilization is more civil than we are today. Why do I think that? Because every time they look back, they say everything's a damn temple. Everything was a blood virgin, child sacrifice, murdering and killing something. Because they don't want you looking back. They don't want you looking back that we used to be a great people. All of us. Yes, even Britain too, because y'all got your Britain racism hats on. You're like, Britain took over the world and colonized. No, shut up. Everybody colonized. We all just eventually tapped into that psychopathic gene, and scarcity brought about massive violence all over the planet. But what does it mean to be civil? What does that mean? What does it mean to you, and what does it mean to your neighbors, right? Not just from a neighborhood perspective, the neighboring tribes, neighboring countries, neighboring continents. Right now, I feel that we have the most uncivilized people running our governments, the most uncivilized, just murderously bloody psychopaths are making the decisions for the world. And what is my theory there? Why do I believe that to be true? You know, when you hear about somebody being hurt, it kind of taps into you a little bit, kind of hits your love bone a little bit, makes you a little upset. You know, you hear about indigenous women being, and a couple of my friends send me stuff, and I looked at some of it. I have time to look at everything. But right now, you have databases and a damn app for indigenous women in Canada and North America that have gone missing. Somebody is preying on indigenous communities, and very little investigation is actually being done into it. Pisses you off, right? Like you get that vision in your head of, you know, some young girl running around, indigenous, doing her thing on her people's land, and someone sneaking on that property, grabbing that little girl, raping her, killing her, and they never find her body. And some of them they did actually find. It doesn't sit right with you, pisses you off, makes you angry. That's why I was upset this morning. That's why I had a little post. I had to let it out. I had to let a little bit out. I get angry. I get upset. You know, I got my triggers too. And the fact that the police aren't even looking into it. FBI is pretty much not even allocated for it. And I don't know how it is in your country, but it makes me upset. And I sit here and I really think about it. You know, Spock says, what does Spock say? He says a whole bunch of stuff. But Spock says, if you remove everything, I'm gonna mess the quote up, but he basically says, you know, if you remove everything that can't be true, whatever's left, no matter how improbable or unpopular, it must be true. And I sit back and I think about all the security agencies we have. I was actually talking to Debbie yesterday. We had a very long conversation about the security agencies and how they coming for y'all. They did listen, y'all. They come for y'all first. All you people watching these videos, shutting down all these peace talks and Alex Jones and everybody, they're coming for you first, by the way. Because that's what all gangs do. The first thing they do is they come for the evidence, and you are the evidence that they've been up to some dirt. So they're getting y'all first, then they're gonna get us. But that's not the point. If we got all these security agencies and all they're doing is watching the people, shutting down free speech, waging war on poor farmers growing cannabis and trying to grow medicine for other poor people who are sick and can't afford big pharmaceuticals. And you hear that women are going missing and being raped, doesn't the first thing that come to your mind, why in the hell aren't we using these people, these DEA, this FBI, these security agencies that are CIA, starting wars around the planet, and the vast majority of the people who signed to those groups, they actually want to help things and be heroes? Why in the hell isn't your federal government reallocating this massive manpower, this massive police state, to find out who the hell is out there killing these women? Why? I go through my mind. People say I try to make excuses for people sometimes. Man, maybe sometimes I do. I don't know. I try to think about why people do what they do. But if you eliminate everything that can't be true, I'm getting to this place where these people are really all psychopaths. They really don't give two damns at all about anything but their mortgage, their retirement, and not changing a system. It's based on slavery, rape, murder, looking the other way, and allowing these things to happen. It's more important for them to send the DEA for big pharmaceutical companies into small communities, killing kids, putting them in prison in cages, separating them from their parents, and reallocating these men who want to be heroes to go solve problems, to bring about peace. And to me, I think it demonstrates that at our core, we are not civilized. The people who run all of this are not civilized. They are uncivilized. We don't have a civilization. We have an uncivilization because we keep taking people who are not civil and having them architecting and engineering our society. And it needs to stop. It needs to stop. It can't stop until we think about what civilization is, right? Because they get us divided and separated, and because we're born into this particular society, we think that this is the best thing going. This is peas and carrots of what humanity is supposed to be, that we're supposed to go off into forced labor jobs and leave our families and work for corporations and the most wealthy elite, dark age, psychopath, greedy people on the planet as opposed to spending our days with our families and people who we love. There's nothing civilized about our business class. There's nothing civilized about big corporations. There's nothing united about the United States. There's nothing united about the human population around the world. We aren't civil. Another reason I like to look back, because you find evidence of technology being utilized by all these ancient cultures that made it very obvious that there was a worldwide civilization. There's no question about that. Whether they use Vimanas as ships, I'll leave that up to your imagination. But the reality is we are in the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages never stopped. In fact, if anything, I think the Dark Ages there was more light in the Dark Ages. That's what I think. Why do I think that? Because in the Dark Ages, you did something dark, it was dark. You murdered somebody, it was murder. People allocated resources, bands of men and other tribes got together to go handle business. Today, what happens? People get murdered and raped, and we just look the other way. The dark has been normalized. We've normalized the most evil things you can do to a human being and made it okay. It's normal. Oh, don't look over there. Just, Mary, go to work. It's no big deal. We aren't civilized. And to anybody who watches this and they look at it and they're like, that's a dark message. Don't get confused. It's not a dark message. How do you turn on the light? You turn on the light by first realizing that it's dark. And damn it, then you get a match and you light the damn candle. That's what you do. It's not dark. I think that we just have to start calling things for what they are. I think we have to stop lying to ourselves and saying we are the good guys. Stop lying to ourselves and saying Russia did it. Damn it, Russia didn't do it. All right. I don't want anybody. There's not a person. I get it. All right. Hitting the trigger, hitting my Russian trigger, my Russophobia trigger. I'm tired of y'all being Russian racist and all your hate speech. We came, we saw, he died. That's hate speech. Tired of y'all hate speech, right? Russia didn't do it. Nobody on this planet what did I say? I said something. Nobody on this planet that doesn't belong in a straitjacket thinks Russia had anything to do with meddling in the United States election. Nobody. Nobody is that dumb. Nobody. It's just politics. They're playing these games, and at a certain point in time, I do get a little upset, and we got to start calling them out and stop playing like this is a game. This is not a game. We're about to go to war with Iran. I don't think we're going to war with Russia. Russia has nukes. America doesn't invade anybody that doesn't have. The big banks, I'm going to say it the right way, the big banks don't send a dumb nation to go invade anybody that has nukes, which is why there is no war happening with North Korea. They're safe. Why are they going to Iran? Iran doesn't have nukes. And that's why you can go on record and quote me, say whatever you want about me. But as soon as they get nukes, there will be world peace. Because we don't invade anybody that is an actual match. We're cowards. We invade people who they can't defend themselves. We invade people who have massive indigenous populations. We prey on them the same way that somebody is preying on indigenous communities in North America and Canada. Why? Because we have different laws. Those people decided we don't want to be a part of your sick society. We want to stay on our land. You stay on your land. And people in America land go on their land, which they're still Americans in terms of protection, in terms of working together as a community in my world. I don't care what psychopath world. I have my world and the psychopath world. So I just don't want anyone to be confused. I'm not speaking from a legal academia perspective. I don't give a damn about your academia. I speak about what we should be doing and what we shouldn't be doing. But the same way you have some sort of psychopath, could be a gang group, who knows what it is, just preying on indigenous communities because you have different laws. You don't have tribal police that can go after these people after they do their dirt and run away. Cowards. Same thing we do. Why? Because the nation of Iran maybe can't deal with the U.S. military because our boys are bad and we got some real nasty weapons. So we can go over there and murder a bunch of people, prey on their community and leave. And what does America do? Well, why isn't anybody prosecuting America and the UK and France for human rights violations? Because we're not subject to their laws. And that makes you upset. Did I hit a trigger? Yeah, did you just liken the United States of America, UK, France, Britain, Germany to a murderous band of rapists that go in indigenous communities, tribes, and rape people? Yeah, I did. Do you not see the similarities? Do you not see the preying on the weak strategy? These are things that we have to talk about. It's not fun, but guess what? Being an adult's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be civil. It's supposed to be peaceful. But being an adult's not supposed to be fun. You just want to have fun and play all day and go to work, make your money, and not give a damn where your money's coming from forced labor and destruction and violence around the world, then you're watching the wrong person. I'm not here for that, and I don't think any of my friends are here for that. We are trying to fix this planet. We don't always agree. We don't have to agree. Some people think I'm crazy. Damn it, half time I think I'm crazy. But this world doesn't work. It does not work. The government models don't work. They're not based on being civil. Now I'm ranting a little bit, so I'm looking comments, and we're gonna go from there. But because there were some interesting things in the news, I think, this morning. But we have to define civil. What does it mean to be civil, right? Because we're born, we're indoctrinated, and we're taught. We're told what civil is. But is that really what civil is? I was watching something interesting this morning. I was looking at I think she was a Jewish lady from Israel, and she was telling us about the Israel school books. And she was saying, over here, our kids, they actually don't see pictures of Palestinians in their school books. They see pictures of Arabs, cartoons with knives and swords, constantly indoctrinating them to make them think what is civil. The kids, what is civil in Israel is or what it isn't. It's not a Palestinian. That's what civil isn't. We are civil, they're not. And so the kids by the age of 18, and they got to go do their 2-year service in the military. They're already indoctrinated, and they're already told what civil is. Civil is shooting these crazy Arab, tribal, violent, comic people that keeps our civilization going. And that's what happens in all the modern world is we indoctrinate the kids that civil is doing uncivil things. And so anyway, a definition of civil. I looked at a couple of them make no sense to me, but I think the one that I like the most is this one right here is civilized, adequate in courtesy and politeness. A civil question. It was hard to be civil when I felt so angry. Angry people can't be civil. And what does scarcity bring about? Angry people, which is why, what is that lecture I watched, and the person said that the root of all conflict is scarcity. So anyway, relating to the base of civil laws and civil, I don't care nothing about that, because I totally agree with Jacques Fresco that if you have law, it means that you're not civilized. When you don't have laws, that means you're civilized. Relating to private rights and remedies sought by action and suit distinction from criminal proceedings. And they separate that out, and they try to stick the law in there, and they try more indoctrination. There's a definition here that I like, and I'm trying to see where it is. Of relating to or involving the general public, their activities, needs of ways, civil affairs, distinction. Nope. Of relating to there's one here I like, and I can't find it anymore. Okay, it's gone. Maybe it was another different definition I was looking at. We'll just stick with this one. Adequate in courtesy and politeness, mannerly. To you or to them? Is it being civil to a Palestinian shooting him? One who's hungry and they're just trying to go out in a boat and catch some fish? Is that civil? I'm sure it's civil to you because you're trained that way. I think we need to think about what civil is for our neighbor. If we don't know what civil is for our neighbor, what freedom is for them, then we'll never have a civilization. Because civil isn't about about you, it's about a community, right? Civil being a word that is an association, be multiple people, right? A society, more than one. So you can't think about what's civil from your perspective, your country's perspective, your town's perspective, your tribe's perspective. Civil is a very big universal word that it's about relationship between two and whether or not it equates civility. So what brings about civility is when you leave me alone and I leave you alone. That brings about civility. That's that big word, self-determination. And that's why I think as a human race, we have to think about these things and we have to go back and look at definitions and change how we think. We'll never become a civilization. There won't be one civilization on this planet until we start respecting self-determination, until we start respecting people's ability to live their own lives, until we have enough love in our heart where a child is born and you just say, go be you. No, you don't have to work for corporations. No, you don't have to put money in a bank account. No, you don't have to get a job and leave your husband or your wife and spend most of your day with strangers you don't even like, damn it. Eating bagels and biscuits and coffee to stay awake and to make yourself a little bit happy working with strangers all damn day. You didn't marry the strangers. You married the woman. You married the guy. You had the kids you want to spend all day with them. That's not civil. Civil is you're born. What do you want to do? Oh, you want to go swim in caves and discover things? Oh, go do that. And we have the technology to make that happen. I don't want to trigger anybody on the capitalist side or libertarian side. You don't need people to work for you. You don't need to tax people to pay for food, water, and drink. We have the automation to do that. We've been had it. Stop trying to tell other people that they got to have a life based in forced labor that you hate because you hate it. But they do that because misery loves company. And I'm not against capitalism. I'm not. I like the idea of organic capitalism. I like the idea of capitalism that doesn't murder people as a model, right? And we'll never have that. You can't have that because the world's already too unequal in who has something and who doesn't. So anyway, I'm gonna look at comments. I rant a little bit. It's Freedom Friday though. I'm allowed to rant on Freedom Friday. Damn, I'm allowed to. I can rant every day. Okay, leave me alone. All right, oh damn gallon here, y'all. Oh shoot, did he see the coffee cup? I know, gallon. I'm brother. I'm almost. It's nothing you can do now. It's too late. I got my caffeine drug, so I'm bubbling now. So anyway, I'm gonna look at the comments and so maybe let's see y'all. And anybody agree with me? If I'm off in left field. Just think about intellectual property we could generate if we work together. Imagine that, Brenda. Imagine the intellectual capital or property we could create if we took the brightest and best minds and got them to work together instead of against each other, working in a corporation to pay a mortgage. Like, you know what, Brenda, what I was thinking about this morning, last night? I know I think a lot. I don't have a life, so that's why I think all the damn time. I was thinking about how someone says that, who was a lady from 2 days ago? I was watching who did the interview. She said, we don't have a resource problem. We have a resource allocation problem worldwide. You know what, Brenda, I don't think we have an intelligence problem. I don't think we have an intellectual capital problem. I think we have a problem with the allocation of it. I think you're spot on. I think that we are allocating the most intelligent, brightest minds we have, the ones that should be driving academia in an academic direction, and we drive them in a greed direction. We force them to go get a job working for a corporation. So instead of working to bring about great things for humanity, we keep the worst evils going. We fund them. We keep the dark ages alive. We keep it quiet. We let murdering people remain a business model. We have a military industrial complex that sells weapons to children all over the world, and it's okay. And I don't think it isn't. I think like what you're talking about, like we have an intelligence industrial complex. And instead of using that intelligent industrial complex to save life and to give kids a good upbringing, to make them smarter, we make them dumber. We dumb them down. We indoctrinate the normalization of working for these corporations that are destroying the planet and the ecosystem that we live. Spot on. Totally agree with it. Totally agree with it. They're conditioning us to accept censorship. as righteousness. What the F? Yes, exactly, Yvonne, because that's how it works, right? If you can convince people that it's a good thing to not be civil, that you don't have to see something that somebody says that you don't like, that it hurts your feelings, that's hate speech. It's okay for Hillary Clinton to say, oh, we came, we saw it, we murdered him. Ha, 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 ha. That's not hate speech. It's okay for the government to lie about Russia all day so they can start a war in Iran and murder millions of people. That's not hate speech. It's okay. Everybody has to see that. But damn it, we can't let Alex Jones talk about brother multi-dimensional alien sex molesters. You know, you can't let the guy talk about that. You know, it's just because they use it against us. But this is how it always works. I mean, historically, right? You always pick somebody who's unpopular and you shut them up. And that means that you can shut up anybody. It means that you can completely destroy the anti-war movement, which is what one of the big foundations with the war on drugs was about, right? It was about taking minorities and hippies, doing the drugs, and putting them in prison, starting a war against them, which is why it gets on me, this whole war on drugs and a war on poor farmers growing medicine. Because it's the same thing. You criminalize them, you make them criminals, and you make it okay because they're unpopular. Reefer madness. It's okay now to shoot children who are 16 who grew up poor and trying to sell cannabis to buy some biscuits. It's okay to murder them now. They're not even 26 yet. They don't even have a frontal lobe yet. It's okay to put them in prisons and turn them into monsters because their brains, the neurons they haven't even developed yet. You know, so okay, but that's how you do it. You have to silence people, right? And if you want to do this war on drugs and you can shut a bunch of people up who are saying, no, this is war on children. This is war on the poor. If you can shut them up, delete their videos, lower their bandwidth, and do the shadow banning, oh, you can keep the dark ages alive, baby. That's what you can do. You can allow people to continue to go into indigenous communities and rape them. Why? Because you don't let people talk about it. You don't get to hear it. Right? Like that was one of the complaints about the women talking about that, is that it's not on the mainstream media at all. They're not even talking about the indigenous women that are going disappearing because they don't give a damn, because they're psychopaths and they're not civil. And the media in every country is controlled by the same people. Absolutely. Let me see what y'all saying on YouTube. They don't care about the people's rights. They are in government to preserve. Exactly, Ish, they don't. They got to pay a mortgage. They don't care about the people's rights. They don't care about the people's life. The politicians are making a career. They're doing the same blind, stupid thing that we're doing, going to work, working for these dark age corporations. Absolutely. Oh, Brother Dillip, what's going on? I haven't seen you in a minute, brother. Let me see. They are and have been for centuries. Yes, and it's nothing new. Brother Dillip says, I am from England and disgusted and ashamed of a lot of our history. Well, Brother Dillip, couple things there. I am disgusted. I am ashamed too, but there is no accountability, I think, among the poor today. I don't think there's anybody today that should be ashamed of their own actions, right? Not the majority. The majority are born into this lie and we live it. But there's no one you can say, oh, well, because Dillip is from Britain, he's this. No, he's not. Dillip has this skin color, and I don't even know what color the brother is. He's this. That's one, first of all, that's more hate speech, but it's ignorance. It's ignorance. Nobody alive today has anything to do with the dark ages and the psychopathy that brought about the modern governments we have today. Our goal is to join together with each other. Find out, what does it mean to be free? Go figure out, how do we become civilized? What do other people want? Like I asked a question the other day. I was asking, I'm always asking questions because I don't think, if you don't ask, you'll never know. I think I was asking something to the effect of what does it mean to be free? What is freedom to you? And someone asked me a question. They said, well, why are you asking the question? I want to know. Obviously, I know what freedom is. What freedom is to me? Freedom is living in a tiny house, a little cob house on some land with a garden, some greenhouses with off-grid, where I wake up in the morning, I grow my food from my smartphone. To me, that's freedom, where I do what I want to do. Have my cup of coffee, watch the ducks land in the lake. But I don't know what freedom is to you. To a lot of people, freedom is going to work, and they like that, right? Like there actually are people who like office work. There are people who want to get and go sit in traffic, get a bagel, some donuts, and some coffee, and they want to go to work and sit with their friends at a desk in a cubicle. And they should have that right to do that. But I don't know. And that might be freedom for them. And I asked, well, what do you want for your kids? And maybe that's what you want for your kids. I think that that's a horrible thing to say. I think that you should ask your kids what they want to do. But I think we need to orchestrate a society that allows people to live free, allows us to be civil, because that's what civil is. And that's how we have a civilization, is we ask other people, what does it mean for you to be free? What does it take for you to be happy? And we use the robots and the automation to give that. We use our intellects to put together models of government based in civility and freedom so we can have that. So the kids can have that option of becoming who they want to become, instead of demanding they become who the dark age big business corporations require they become. That's why I asked the question, because we don't know. And it's not just for me, I have a lot of my friends do the same thing. I have a lot of friends, they don't even comment half the time on the threads. They're just reading what everybody else says, right? That's why it's important for you to chime in and say what it is. There's no crazy in my book. That's why I'll talk about, I talk about that. Wait, where's the Magi at? Where's the Magi? This is why I put myself in the way. I put myself out there. I talk about alien Jesus. Alien Jesus, what's up, Jesus? All right, so I'll talk about him and I'll pull it out, because there's no crazy anymore. There is no crazy. I think the word crazy doesn't even exist. Everybody's different. Everybody's brain works differently. The neurons in your brain come together in a way that allow you to think in a certain way. And I don't think that makes you crazy. I think that makes you you. I don't think they should put you in a psychopathic ward somewhere and you're peaceful, right? So that you see people talking to you down the street, in the room, in your brain, it links together, and now you're bleeding into another quantum reality, and you're seeing people from a quantum reality and you're talking to them. Sitting there, my grandmother did that. You get dementia, these things happen. It's like, well, maybe what is dementia? I don't know. Maybe it's tapping you into another dimension in time where you actually are talking to someone in history in another dimension, and maybe you're really talking to that person. I used to go in the room, my grandmother, she thought I was my grandfather. Boy, I love her to death. I used to run from her. I'd walk in the room and say, hey, baby, come here, let me get you some sugar. I'd grab me, no, grandmama, stop kissing me in my mouth. Kiss me in my mouth. God rest her soul. But there is no crazy. There's crazy violent, maybe. Yeah, those people you got to put in a ward somewhere. You can't let them run around. But different, because somebody's different from you doesn't mean that they're crazy. It just means that they're different. People get real upset sometimes with you when you say stuff like that, because they're upset that you don't like what they like. How stupid is that? Oh, well, you're not like me, so something's wrong with you. We got to write a law and make you like me. How dumb is that? It's just a stupid thing. So anyway, it's about understanding what people want. You understand what people want, what it takes for them to be free, then make sure they have that. Then guess what? We can have a civilization. Maybe some people don't want to live around you. That's okay too. They don't have to like you. This isn't the like apocalypse. We're in a like apocalypse where everybody's got to be like. No. Maybe their brain develops in a way where they really don't like you, and they're not supposed to like you. And you're supposed to be okay with that. You don't have to like me, but we have to be civil. And we could be civil at a distance. It's like that saying, what do they talk about? There's sometimes you got to love people from a distance. Yeah, some people you got to love from a distance. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. If your mind is set up that way, right? If you really want a civilization to let other people be them, but you want them to be like you, then you got a problem. You want hate to solve hate, then we got a problem. Then we get what we have today, where you have one massive government requiring everybody to live the same way. And that's a problem. We can't do that. Ununited States. Yes, Brother Gil. Absolutely. We are the ununited states, and we are the problem of the world right now because we can't leave everybody else alone. We don't, the citizens don't leave each other alone. So, of course, the government's not going to leave the other nations alone. The government is just mirroring the citizens. And this is why I'm not anti-government. I'm not like here saying bad stuff about the government. I'm not. The government is us. We're little mini greedy bastards shoving as much money we can in bank accounts for retirements. Why in the world wouldn't your politician be a greedy mid-tier bastard and shove as much money into their retirement, paying a mortgage by writing laws for corporations who are big greedy bastards who are just making money, murdering people all over the world, doing anything they want? They are us. That's how you fix everything. You fix everything by looking in the mirror, looking at your own evils and resolving those evils. And other people, they look at you and they think, my God, yeah, that's a good thing to be. Wow, you're leaving everybody alone. Maybe I should leave everybody alone too. Maybe I should let everybody go about their own way. And I think when you do that, there's a lot of things that'll go away. I think between epigenetics and time and de-evolving the violence that we have, I think in time, a generation gets rid of that. Let me see. Oh yeah, CPS is another department that is corrupt, and I know that by experience. Research masses of parents that have taken their kids without much discourse. Right, Jeannie? And that is, and I can talk about that all day, all day. And you know, the problem you have with child protective services, if you're not in this country, it's just another, unfortunately, a bureaucratic setup that makes money on the location ownership of children. You have but it's like the FBI, CIA, and everything else. It's full of good people who want to do good things. However, the system, the actual model, is not based on a civil model. It's not based on helping kids. It's based on states making money. And as long as you have a model based on states making money, based on greed, all they're going to do is take kids. That's it. That's it. You know, and it really, and that's why, like I said, our fixes are really that simple. If your model is based in uncivility, it won't be civil, and we'll have problems in society that we don't have to have. You know, but it also requires we listen to people. Right? It requires we listen. I'm gonna hit the vaccine trigger on some people. It requires that we listen to some of the people that are just making the vaccines, right? Because I'm not against vaccines. I'll say it all day long. I am not against vaccines. I'm against you forcing your vaccine in me. That's what I'm against, right? Because there is one vaccination approach I'm all for. Like, where is it? I was looking at the news this morning. I'll post the link, but there's somewhere, I think it's in South America. They were doing the vaccine for, is it for Ebola, or it might even be Africa. They're doing the vaccine for that. 50% of the people who contract it die. Okay, let's think about that. See, I'm against force, but this is why the base requirement has to be self-determination. If it's something going around in my country and 50% of the people get it, die, damn it, I might take your vaccine for prevention. I might. But I'm not going to take it if the people just get a cold or a flu or something. No, I want my body to evolve to deal with that. And I want to pass those genetics on to my kids. I don't want your technology. Right, so I'm not against it, but the thing is, we have to listen to the actual doctors, right? We have to listen to academia. We have to give them a platform that's not based in not saying the things that pisses the corporations off, that affects their bottom line. Because when it affects their bottom line, it affects the scientist's mortgage. When it does that, they will lie. They'll lie all day long, just like the sweetest pastor you might know will turn into a psychopath and rape children and kill your whole family to feed his. Same exact thing. He's spot on so much. Horrifying these things happen. Thank you, May. I try to pay attention best I can, and I listen to what my friends say, and I read a lot of things that they send me. You can't be the light when you're scared, or when you're scared of the dark. Oh, go on, Crystal. Exactly. You can't be the light if you're scared of the dark. When you have fear, you can't help us. You can't help anybody if you're scared. If you're scared, you need to go find a little corner to sit in and hide or something, you know. But if you don't have fear, then you can take on the systems that bring about fear, because that's how all this works. Fear. That's how it all works. Fear. And that was a good talk I was having. Like I said, I was talking to Debbie the other day, and yeah, she's got these black cars that follow her. Claudia got the black helicopters flying out there. And I'm just like, you know, you can't let these people scare you. You can't, because when they scare you, then they have control over you, you know. But the thing that the people who need to be scared are the ones who are getting in the black cars that are showing up, working for whoever they're working for, whether that be the mafia, whether that be the CIA, the FBI, because those are the people who are going to go first. That's who they're coming for first. Because if we ended some sort of a collapse situation, they got to get rid of the evidence. The worst evidence of the people who actually work for them. Flip the fear. You have to flip the fear on them, but you can't have any fear at all. You have to operate from a spiritual perspective where you know that this life, we're just here to do the right things and then go away. That's it. Nobody gets to stay. You don't get to take it with you, and don't get lied into a life of taking it with you. You can't take it with you. And if you know you can't take it with you and you know you can't stay permanently, why don't you live a life like you can't stay permanently and you can't take it with you? Like, these are these nice things we like to say because they sound cute. But do you live a life like you really mean it? It's like I get on the Christians all the time. Are you really trying to be Christ-like, or are you just trying to be billionaire-like? Which one? You can't have both ways, right? And if you do, don't lie to me. Don't come lie to me. Don't bring that fakeness to me. I'm all about, listen, we need to be honest with each other. You know, Christ didn't like the banks. Christ didn't have a bank account. Christ didn't like the money changers. Christ didn't even like the church of the day. Christ actually came and made war against the religions. The Pharisees and the Sadducees. So I was just like, stop. Christ didn't go to Caesar and get a bunch of laws to force people to live the way he thought they should live. Christ took the hookers to dinner, you know, but we have to be true who we say we are. We can't sit around and lie to each other. I post that sometimes. We could be honest with each other, or we could just sit around and lie to each other. I don't think we should sit around and lie to each other. I think we should be honest with each other. I think that the people who you have the most problems with is you need to go out and listen to those people. Brother Billy's in the house. What's up, Billy? Brother, I can't say that. But you know, that reminded me of something. The Black Mirror. If y'all haven't watched the Black Mirror, you need to watch it, right? Because that's the future of where all of this insanity is going. It's on Netflix. It's a series. I guess it reminds me of a mix between Alfred Hitchcock and Twilight Zone. A futuristic model of view, and I think it's produced out of the UK. That gets you to look at what happens if we keep going this way. What will society look like if we keep rolling out all the technology for corporations whose bottom line is greed? What happens if we keep being mini greeters? I asked a question this morning. It was I have to go down to it. It was based on Spock. Because what did Spock say? Spock said when he went into the reactor and killed himself, he said the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Oh, somebody. No, the reason I said Black Mirror is the first episode. Don't watch it. I tell people to watch Black Mirror. They don't get past the first episode. They get sick. They can't watch anymore. Billy says I may be reminded of that. Watch, but don't watch the first episode. Watch the other episodes first. That was the old pig thing, but don't watch that one. Watch the other ones and then watch that. Spock said, do the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few? And I think I'm gonna change that a little bit. I'm gonna say the self-determination of the one is more important than the greed of the billions. I think it's more important than the greed of the corporations. I think it's more important even than the needs of the 7 billion. If we can't agree on self-determination, if we can't agree on letting people be people and live their own lives, this ain't gonna last long. None of this is gonna last long. Because human beings don't want to be controlled. Human beings don't want to be told what to do. Kids are born and their brains get encoded to go different ways in their life. And it's not always what supports your monoculture and props up your dark society. That's what we need to think about, civilization. Because the most uncivilized people are running the world right now. They're creating all the problems. And it's about time that we become smart enough that we stop putting them in places to make everything worse. So anyway, I gotta get going. This is Gerard. Happy Freedom Friday, y'all. Enjoy your Freedom Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Go tell yourself, I'm free, I'm free, I'm free. Don't tell yourself that, because it's not true. As long as we can say and admit it's not true, then we can talk about what we got to do to make people free and go to becoming a civilized earth where we don't tell each other what to do, how to be, what to think, and where to go. Have a great weekend. I'm out.